Hey y'all, welcome back. My name's Katie and this is Dark Side of the Truth. In this video, we are gonna go over some mind-blowing timeline jumping stories, glitch in the matrix stories, just all that good stuff that is like super mind-blowing, like what's going on. Now, if you guys have never heard of quantum timeline jumping, basically it is where a traumatic event happens in this timeline, and instead of it taking you out or ending your life, you'll just magically like shift over to a very similar yet slightly different timeline, where then you'll just carry out the rest of your life, basically. These stories will do a slightly better job than I am at explaining what quantum timeline jumping is, but it is like a really mind-blowing concept, and these stories of events that have happened to these individuals, in my opinion, are even more mind-blowing. Obviously, it's very easy for them to fake and make these stories up, but on the off chance that they're not fake and that these are real stories, I had to share them with you. And something in my gut tells me that 90% of these are true stories, just because my husband has experienced a quantum timeline jump in his lifetime before we met. I will tell his story in this video towards the end of it. Either I'll tell the story for him, or maybe I'll cut to him telling his own story. I'm not sure, but he definitely experienced this, and I will tell you guys about that story as well. Now, before we jump on into this video, do me a favor and smash the hell out of that like button if you haven't already. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, come on over and join our truth-seeking community, and make sure you hit that little bell icon, so hopefully, fingers crossed, YouTube will notify you whenever I upload new videos. Now, without any more jibber jabber from me, let's get straight on into these glitch in the matrix and quantum timeline jumping stories, because I promise they are amazing. Roll the intro.
They live, we sleep, the alarms going off, beep beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elite.
This is a story that I haven't told many people because frankly I feel like everybody would think I'm crazy. When I was 16 years old, I went on a ski trip with my school. I live in Australia and snow is rare, so we had to go an 18-hour bus ride down south to the snow. I was with my friends, we were having a good time, we were excited to go snowboarding, but on only the second day of this trip, my entire life shifted. So because we weren't experienced in snowboarding, most of us school kids would go with the people who worked at this snow lodge, and we'd all snowboard as one big group down the slopes. Some of the courses were more easy, some of them were more difficult, really just depending on what sort of experience you had as a snowboarder. I had none, so I was snowboarding with a big group of people, but I was the person at the very back of this group. Everyone starts to turn around this big mountain. Because I'm 5 seconds behind everyone, I turn around the mountain 5 seconds later. Mind you, it's a super busy day on the snow, it's a beautiful sunny day, and there are people everywhere, and like not just us school kids, like a lot of people. But when I turn around this big mountain, everyone is gone. Everybody who was in front of me was gone, and everybody who was skiing or snowboarding behind me was gone. Like there were people who were not in the group I was snowboarding with, other people behind me. So once I went around this mountain, they should have followed. I should have been able to see everybody in front of me, because after I turned this mountain, it was just a straight long slope down the hill. But I was dead alone. I'm obviously instantly confused, shocked. I don't understand what's happening. I get my phone out to call my best friend who was on this ski trip with me, and I remember so distinctly my phone was on like 75% charge, like it was charged, but as soon as I pressed this little circle to enter my phone, my whole screen went black and the no battery signal came up. The only way I could make sense of what happened is that everybody somehow just beat me to the bottom of this course, and everyone behind me somehow went past me without me realizing. I was just like grasping at straws. So I continued to just keep snowboarding down the hill, hoping that I'd just make it to the end. The thing is that there was no end. There was no end to this course, or whatever alternate reality course I had just jumped into. As I mentioned, I was not an experienced snowboarder, so I was trying my best to snowboard, but I kept falling over. I decided to just eventually give up, clip my snowboard off, and walk. I walked for like an hour. I was tired. I was carrying this heavy snowboard. I was walking in snow, which is just as hard as walking in sand. And after what feels like forever, I finally came to this, what looked like an abandoned ski lift. It was really dingy and old and creaky and looked scary. I thought my best chance was to get onto this ski lift so I could get up high and have a look around, hoping that maybe I'd find where the main area is, because in the main area there's like a bar and cafes and restaurants and whatever. I thought if I can see that, I know which direction to walk in and I can just make my way over there before the sun sets. But when I get onto this ski lift, there's nothing but snow and trees. And obviously I was freaking out because it was sunset, like it was about to be dark. But then I was also thinking, how the fuck did this happen? Like I was with a group of people in a busy area, and also because I was a child and a beginner at snowboarding, obviously they took us to a course that was super close to like the main area. The fact that I'm now on this single seater ski lift looking out 360 views and there's nothing, I didn't know, what do you even do? And it was on that ski lift, I just broke down sobbing. Like I genuinely thought I was going to die. I just wanted my mum. And this ski lift just drops me off at nowhere, like no destination, no platform, nothing. The cabin that we were staying at, the way to get to this main area to go skiing and snowboarding in was that we had to catch a shuttle bus and then an underground subway. The sunset, it's dark. You have to understand how scary it was. Because when I say dark, I mean I couldn't barely see what was in front of me. There's no city lights anywhere. Didn't have the torch on my phone to shine. Just as I was about to give up and sit down and accept what was going to happen, I saw like this glowing light in the distance. And what it led me to was like this glowing tunnel with a staircase leading down into it. And what led me to the bottom was an underground subway. How that was there, I don't know. Why it was there, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense for there to be a proper station there because I was in the middle of nowhere. But sure enough, the subway came and I jumped on it. And it took me to the shuttle buses, and I took a shuttle bus back to the cabin. And when I walked into the cabin, all the school kids I was with, all the teachers that were there were all having like dinner together. And I was like, was no one looking for me? And everybody very nonchalantly, not in like even a rude way, we're just like, oh, hey, Chloe, there you are. It was almost as if they were hearing me through a filter and they weren't grasping the gravity of what I was trying to say. I don't know. The whole thing was weird. The energy was off. For the next few days, I stayed in the cabin. I refused to leave the cabin. And then when I got home, things felt slightly off. I don't really know how to explain it, but for example, certain objects in my room were in like a different place. And it's not as if anybody in my family would have gone in and rearranged my room. I didn't feel like that's what happened. It felt as if that is where it belonged. But I knew that it was in a different spot before I left. Even just weird things like timing felt different. Everything was just slightly tweaked. When I told my sister about this story a few years later, she said to me, there probably is a timeline out there where you did get lost in the snow and quantum jumped. And she said there's probably a timeline out there where our family is grieving you, which is so scary and sad to think. But that's my story where if I told anybody, they probably wouldn't believe me.
Nuts, right? I know, we're starting it off real big, okay? Now, something about this girl's demeanor just tells me that she's being like 100% truthful. Obviously, like I said in the beginning, it's very easy for all of these videos to be faked. We kind of just have to take the creator's word for it. There's not much proof behind these, but like I said, my husband has a personal 100% true story that is very, very similar to all of these stories that I'm showing you, and that fact alone makes me lean towards them being truthful and lead towards these stories actually being real rather than made up. But I would also love to hear your guys' opinion. Obviously, my opinion is not fact. That's not like the end all be all. That's just what I think. But I would also love to hear what you guys think. But how weird, right? She goes on like this field trip and then she gets lost in the woods and takes this old ski lift up and there's nothing around, and then all of a sudden this tunnel leads her back to the underground subway to get her back home, and like the school has noticed that she's been gone but nobody's really been looking for her, and then when she gets home everything's like in different places, but it seems like it's the right place, but it's not the place that she left it in before she left. So weird. Like, so weird. And I think her sister's explanation is 100% right. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. I think there is a timeline out there where maybe she did pass away in the snow, and maybe in that timeline her family is grieving her, the loss of her. And then in this timeline, they don't know what she's talking about. That never happened. But instead of her passing away and her life ending when she froze in the snow, she just shifted over into a very similar yet slightly different timeline where she was then allowed to live out the rest of her life. So weird. And this is going to be a common theme that you're going to see repeat throughout this video. So let's check out this next video and you guys let me know what you think.
Can someone please explain this to me? I cannot stop thinking about this. It's been days. A couple nights ago, I was on my way home from work. I had just picked up my daughter. It was 8:30 and it's winter, so it's dark. And we live in a very rural area, so I was driving down a whole lot of nothing to get to where we live, and I turned onto the main road that leads into our little town. And as I was driving, out of nowhere, I got hit with like a massive adrenaline rush, as if I'd been hit by something. And then I was 3 miles ahead from where I thought I was. In the same moment, My 2-year-old daughter from the back seat, unprompted, she'd been silent the whole trip, goes, "Mommy, crash!" Excuse me? What? So anyway, I think I either jumped universes or there was a glitch in the Matrix, but if anybody has an explanation for me, I'd appreciate it because I'm totally freaked out by this.
Yeah, like so weird. It's the adrenaline rush for me. It's the feeling like I was just hit by something and then being miles ahead of where I thought I should be. And then unprompted at the same time in the backseat, her 2 or 3-year-old daughter yells out, "Mommy, crash!" My personal opinion, I think maybe she did get into an accident on that long, twiny, dark country back road that she described herself driving on. Because she said it was on her way home. 95% of accidents happen within like a 5-mile radius of a person's home because they're just like on autopilot at that point and they're so used to driving these roads that it's just like second nature to them and they're more likely to not pay attention and more likely to make like stupid, simple mistakes, right? I think maybe that's what happened. That's why she felt like she was hit by something. That's why she got that crazy adrenaline rush. That's why she was 3 miles ahead of where she thought she was, and then that's why her daughter at the same moment, unprompted from the back seat, yells out, "Mommy, crash." It's like she crashed and unfortunately passed away, and then instead of her life ending in that moment, her and her daughter's life, it was just transferred over to a slightly different yet very similar timeline where they were allowed to live out the rest of their life. I don't know, but I think it's really weird. I think it's even more weird that her daughter remembers the crash. Does that have something to do with the fact that children and animals are still more tied into that spiritual realm and that other reality that we can't see, that we don't have access to because we've been dulled down our whole lives and told, no, that's not real, that's not real, that's not real. So it kind of dulls that part down of your brain. And that's why the mom didn't know it, but the daughter did. I don't know, but I would love to hear what you guys think. These are like mind-blowing to me. Now let's take a slightly different turn. We're not done with the timeline jumping. We're going to go back into the timeline jumping, but I just wanted to show you this video here really quick about a child who clearly and vividly remembers his past life. And then when the mom starts looking into it, kind of seems like maybe he might actually be speaking fact and it's not just like a child's imagination running rampant. Seems like there might be some legitimacy to what this child is saying. So let's check out this video.
Do you think it's normal for a 3-year-old to just casually talk about his old life? Because this has been going on for well over a year now. And the first time it happened, we were out in a field and my husband was in the tractor and we were just standing there. My 3-year-old, well, he was 2 at that time, he said, "Oh, my mom ran over my foot with her pickup." And I was like, "Miles, I've never ran over your foot with a pickup. What are you talking about?" And he goes, "No, not you, my old mom." And so I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, my old mom ran over my foot with her pickup." And so I was just like, okay, that was weird. And then like fast forward a month later, my sister got in a little fender bender. So I think he figured out what a car accident was. We were talking about car accidents, things like that. And his eyes kind of just like light up and he's like, "Oh, my sister died in a car accident." And I was like, "Miles, you don't have a sister." And he goes, No, my old sister died in a car accident." And I was like, okay, that's weird. That's another one, probably the second time. And this just casually happens every month or so. And my husband's grandma got sick and she had to go to the hospital. So we were telling the boys like, "Yeah, grandma's not doing too good. She's in the hospital." And Miles just said, "Oh, that's not good. My old mom died in a hospital." And every time this happens, whoever I'm with, we just kind of like look at each other like, "Oh, that's weird." And it's gotten to the point where he said so many things. Like he said he's seen Jesus. He talks about his old dad, how his old dad was really tall. He talks about how his old mom had red cows. And I asked him, like, Herefords? And he's like, "No, they were all red." And so I showed him a picture of a red Angus cow. And he's like, "Yeah, my old mom had red Angus." And so it's just like a thing now where my oldest, or Miles will say something about his mom. And then my oldest will be like, "Oh, like our mom or your old mom?" And he either says like, "Oh, our mom," or "Oh, my old mom." But it's just like so casual to him. And it's just like been going on for a long time now. So I don't know. Is this normal? I'm going to go ahead and make a little part 2 about this because I got a lot of comments like that and I never really ask him questions. If he says something, I just go along with it, but I don't really push it because I don't really know what to believe. But last night I asked him, "Miles, do you remember your old name?" And he was like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, well, do you remember where you lived?" And he goes, "Yeah, Sydney." And Sydney's right down the road from us. It's where I grew up. And so I was like, "Okay, well, do you remember what your house looked like?" And he said, "Yeah, it was a red house." And then he said this.
I wonder where that red house is. It's not Sydney.
Sydney? It'd be cool if we could find it.
But it's broken.
Oh, what happened to it?
I saw the bad guy in my wet house and him sue all my family. And him sue me. And now I lied.
Oh my god. So when he said, "And now I'm alive," that kind of caught me off guard. I went down a little rabbit hole last night looking up the history of Sydney, and it's wild. Like, it was a town along the way during the gold rush. And then in 1867, the railroad was built, and that's where Sydney's history really took off, it seems like. So at this point, it became a boom town, and it was a wild boom town. So when I was reading about it, I found from 1876 to 1881, it had over 1,000 criminal cases along with 56 murders. And that's the ones that they recorded. So his story of someone coming into his house and shooting him and his family isn't as far-fetched as it could have been, you know? But he did go on to tell me that when the bad guy came in, his dad tried to shoot him back, and then the bad guy hid behind his door, and just like crazy little details about that. So now I don't really know what to think, but it's just weird and wild. I don't know.
Yeah, like, whoa, dude. Everything he's saying, down to like the history of the town, and how like when he said that the bad man broke into his house, and like that wouldn't be as far-fetched as many of us like would think that that would be, because of the like the gold rush and all that stuff that was happening in the town back then. Crazy, like crazy, dude. Now we're gonna go slightly down the rabbit hole of dream talk. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen dream talk before, but it is a whole like subreddit on TikTok of people who lucid dream, want to learn how to lucid dream, want to learn how to quantum jump timelines or manifest their ideal reality, or people who have abilities in their dream or can talk to people in their dreams. And it's just like a whole rabbit hole of like manifestos about weird things happening around dreams, basically, would be the best summary I could give for TikTok or for dream talk. So let's go slightly. I'm only going to show you one story from dream talk because this kind of pans along the same niche that we're going for this video, I guess you could say. This is a story about how a woman's mother's dream saved her aunt's life. I know, a little confusing, so let me say that again. This story is going to be told from a young woman, and she is talking about a story that happened to her mother and how her mother saved her aunt's life through a dream. It'll make more sense when I play the video. Check it out.
So basically, I grew up in a very haunted house. I had a lot of really scary, weird, crazy shit happen in that house that I still almost don't believe to this day because it's that out there. I'm not going to tell you the super scary ones right now because I'm home alone for the next few days, and whenever I start talking about the things that used to haunt me, and I do say haunt, like literally haunt, they kind of come back around for a little bit. So I don't really want to get into that right now, but I will in a couple days if you guys are interested. Also, this isn't my normal content, so don't follow me if you want more of this. I post about reading. I read books. So this happened to my mom, which makes it even crazier because I come from a family who is very aware of the paranormal, but it's also like, don't acknowledge it and it won't acknowledge you. Like, that's how my family is, at least. Everyone like fully believes in it, but also no one ever acknowledges or talks about it. And there's only been a couple instances where something was so crazy we had to tell each other, and this is one of them. So we have a saying with the women in our family, which is like, if you have a problem, sleep on it. Now that I'm older and there's like all these terms for all these things, it is like absolutely ancestral fucking dream witchery going on in my family. This has been like this my whole life, but just as recently as a few months ago, I started having dreams every single night, intense, vivid dreams that I was pregnant. And this one night, I was so convinced I was pregnant at this point. I was like, please, I was like, if I have one more pregnancy dream tonight, then I know for a fact I am pregnant. That night, I had a dream that my best friend came up to me and I took a pregnancy test and she handed it to me and it was positive and she was like, you're pregnant. I woke up the next day and I was like, my best friend's fucking pregnant. A week later, she tells me that she's pregnant. Then she asked me like, well, what do you think the gender is going to be? And she hadn't got her results back yet. And I told her, well, let me dream on it. So I kind of meditated on it. I went to sleep, and that night I had a dream. I could tell you about the dream if you want to know. And it was a boy. And then she had her gender reveal. It was a boy. It was very lovely. But all of my dream witchery shit, I get from my mom, who gets it from my grandma, who probably gets it from her lineage all the way fucking back to Adam and Eve, I guess. But my mom had a best friend. I grew up with her. She was my aunt. I love her. I want to change her name in this story, so I'm going to call her Nora. So my aunt Nora and my mom were best friends for years and years and years, and they met when my aunt moved down from like a more northern state down to my mom's home state, and that's how they met and became friends. And every year my aunt Nora would go on a road trip back to her hometown to like visit all of her family. And my mom, she had this really icky feeling about her, and she was like, I don't know if, like, obviously, like, you need to go, but just be careful. I have a really bad feeling about you driving up there. Just be safe and like call me when you get there, all these things. And my aunt was like, well, we make this drive all the time. We're going to be fine, but I know that you're kind of like witchy and you're kind of weird, so I'll make sure to be careful and I'll just call you when I get there. On the day that my aunt is driving up, my mom is like a workhorse. She is always working. She never gets tired. But this one day, my mom gets so incredibly exhausted. She's like, I have to go lay down. I have to take a nap. Like, I physically cannot stay awake. So she goes in her bedroom, lays down, goes to sleep, and she wakes up in the back of my aunt's car. My uncle's driving, my aunt's in the passenger seat, my mom's sitting in the middle back seat, looking up in between them. My mom's entire body gets filled with this dread feeling from like head to toe, dread. And she leans forward, she grabs both the seats, and she leans forward in between their heads, and she starts looking between them and screaming, stop the car, stop the car. And she's looking at my uncle who's driving, and she's like, Johnny, I had to change his name. Johnny, stop the fucking car, screaming at him. Obviously, she's dreaming, she's having a dream, so they're not hearing her. So my mom's yelling at them, stop the car, but then this like primal thing just takes over her, and she looks over at my aunt. She goes, Nora, tell him to stop the fucking car. And she's like screaming, and then my aunt just kind of looks over and then slams her hand like on my uncle's chest and goes, Johnny, stop the car. And he's like, what? And she's like, stop the car. He slams on the brakes. They're going through a green light at this intersection, and he slams on the brakes, stops at the green light, and as they're stopping, the semi-truck blows through a red light and just is like starts honking his horn and just completely barrels through the red light. And then my mom looks over at him, looks over at her. The two of them are looking at each other like, what the fuck? And then my mom's laying in bed and she just opens her eyes. She sits up, she's sweating, her heart's racing. She's like, and then her phone starts ringing. And she looks over, she grabs the phone, looks at it. It's my aunt. She answers it. And my aunt goes, I think you just saved my life. And my mom was like, I think I just saved your life. And then my aunt was like, I heard you scream. I stopped the car because I heard you scream at me to stop the car. She's like, you just saved my fucking life. And that's the story on how my mom saved her best friend's life through a dream. I have chills. I get chills every time I think about that because, oh my God.
That woman was guided to fall asleep at that moment so that she could astral travel and go reach out to her sister and stop a fatal accident. This is, oh my God, amazing. I love these chills.
Like the aunt calling her right away and being like, bro, I think you just saved my life. The fact that this girl retells the story 10, 15 years later and still gets goosebumps, like that tells me it is genuine. That is a real experience that she lived through. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. Have you guys ever had like a very vivid dream like that, or like a really crazy dream like that? Because I've only experienced that once in my life. Now, I didn't save anybody's life, but in this dream, I was a freshman in high school, and I'll sum it up because, like, you know, dreams are weird. They don't make sense. I won't go on about every detail of the dream, but basically, I was getting ready for homecoming in real life, okay? And in this dream, well, in real life, homecoming was like 3 or 4 weeks away. Like, it was coming up, but not anytime soon, right? I was just getting ready for it, going to buy my dress, you know, I think I had just purchased my dress, whatever. But in my dream, it was the day of homecoming, and I was getting ready, putting my dress on, doing my hair, all that stuff, right? And as I go, I got all my hair done, my makeup done, and as I go to find my dress, I can't find it anywhere in my house. And then all of a sudden, I just have like this clairvoyant message in my head that my dress is not in my house, but in a house in my neighborhood. And so I'm like, okay, we need to go over there. And I did not get in a car and drive. It was like my spirit left my body and floated over there. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had in my life, right? I can't even explain it. Other than that, that's the best way I could explain it. So it's like I float over to this house, and I've never been down this particular street ever in my life. I've lived in the same neighborhood since I was in like 3rd grade, but I just have never been to this part of the neighborhood. I've been past this street, but I had never been down this street. For some reason, my dress was in this house down this street. I don't know why, but it was. And the house, when I went in the house to get my dress, it was like extremely haunted, and there was like ghosts chasing me out, and it was like really scary dream and whatever. I woke up, got my dress, no problem. But in my dream, I vividly remember what this house looks like. The tree in the front yard, it was a 2-story house. There was stairs leading up to the front porch. Like I said, the tree was in the front yard. There was a play place in the backyard. I vividly remember what the inside of this house looks like to this day. I can still picture it. Then I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, that is the most real dream I've ever had in my life. Like, I am freaked out by this dream and how it made me feel and just everything about it, right? So I tell my boyfriend at the time, we'll call him Josh, and I tell my boyfriend at the time, I'm like, Josh, we have to go see if this house is real. Something in my gut is telling me this house is real. I've never been there before. I've never been down the street before, but I know exactly where it is. Like, I know exactly where it is. I'm like, you're gonna go to this street, turn down the street. It's the very first house on your right-hand side behind like this factory. There's a factory on the corner, and then like right when you pass factory, boom, right there, first house on your right hand side. That's where I flew to in my dream. When my spirit left my body and I flew to this house to get my homecoming dress in my dream, this is where it was located. So he thought I was full of shit, and he's like, okay, fine, let's go see. It's not that far. It's like a 5-minute drive from your mom's house. Let's go check it out. We turn down the street. That house is there. The exact house from my dream. The same tree in the front yard, the same play place in the backyard, the same roof with the like it's a 2-story house where it has like the point in the roof and the steps leading up to the porch. The front door is the same. Everything is the same. The whole street looks the same. I literally got instant goosebumps. I was freaked the fuck out. And my boyfriend's like, I don't know, you think we should knock on the door and like have him open the door, and then you can like at least see the living room and see if it looks the same as what your dream did? And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is too close for me. I'm done. I want to get the fuck out of here. And I left. And I never went back down that street since. But to this day, that dream sits with me and I can't forget it. It's like so weird. Like, did my spirit really leave my body that night, and did I go travel and then see this place that I had never seen before in my life, and that's how I knew what it looked like? I don't know. But that is like the strangest experience I've ever had with a dream. Have you guys ever had any strange experiences like that with a dream where it's like vivid, you can remember it, like it was like not a dream but it was real? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I think that was really weird. Okay, so now let's jump into a story of a gentleman who was at the gym and was confronted with some information that he knew not to be true. And I'm not going to ruin it any more than that. Let's just play the tape and you can make up your own minds. So check it out.
What I'm about to share with you is the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. If you know about manifestation, quantum jumping, spirituality, anything within that realm, you're going to want to hear this. I don't think you realize how real this shit is, how much this can fuck your mind up. It can fuck your life up. My wife and I had some fights today because of this. Everything is completely fine now. But enough of the bullshit. So here it is. The Earth has been changing. The Schumann resonance, you probably have heard of this. It's changing frequency. The second Earth, you've heard the stuff from Dolores. I've talked about this. Yada, yada, yada. We're on a different timeline. There's a higher vibration, okay? I received a text today, not on this phone that I'm recording on my personal phone. I received a text. The text used a name that my mother called me when I was younger, and that my mother actually wanted to name me. The text said, hey, it's me. I don't want to say the person's name. I wanted to see when you want to hook up. I showed my wife this. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is really weird. She thought it was really weird, especially that name. And I said, I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong number. Then she said, you don't remember me? That we met at the gym. It started getting a lot weirder from here. She knew the gym I went to. She said that we met at the gym, that I introduced myself as this name, which is not my name. It's a name my mother had for me that she wanted to call me when I was younger. That was an inside thing between me and my mom when I was very, very young. I don't give my personal phone number to anybody. I don't care what it is, business related, anything like that. That is not me. I know there's going to be a lot of you in the comments that make your own assumptions. Go ahead, do whatever the fuck you want to do. So basically I called this person out saying, how did you get my number? What is all this about? I've never met you. They told me the day that they met me at the gym. My wife and I were not there. We were in San Diego. I truly started thinking it was some weird scam at this point. I'm going to throw this one out there. I basically said, how do I know you're not from a different timeline? When I said that, everything changed. The person started saying, I don't know. I kind of feel weird. I don't remember how I even got here. I've been tripped out the entire day on this. I have seen firsthand manifestations happen in my life. I've seen some profound mysteries of the universe, but I have never seen a timeline shift like this. Because the Earth is changing, if you are of high vibration right now, be careful, because your future timelines are going to start linking in with this. This has fucked my mind up the entire day. I've never met this person, because they didn't meet me. They met an alternate version of me.
Weird, right? Now I know some people will be like, well, he's just like an adulterer, like he's just unfaithful. He gave his number out to some girl at the gym when he had a girlfriend at home. Like, hello, guys do that all the time. You know what I mean? But no, like this man, no, I really don't think so. He seems so genuine about it. And if he was trying to just cheat on his girlfriend, why would he have then brought the text message to her and be like, oh, look, this girl from the gym's texting me and calling me a name that my mom almost named me but didn't end up naming me? Like, he would have hid it from her. You know what I'm saying? And then he would have just gave her his real name, not name that his mother was going to name him when he was a child, but then decided not to name him. Like, it's weird. And then he says, she contacted my personal cell phone, which if anybody out there is a content creator, you know that you have more than one phone. Like, I have my personal cell phone, which is what I use to record the videos. But then, like, if I'm gonna handle anything with social media or anything like that, I use like a tablet or like my second phone. Or if I'm gonna be in contact with anybody, like give my number out, I give out my second phone number. I don't give out my personal cell phone number. Like, you just don't do that. It's so weird. She had his personal line. She knew a name he was going to be named when he was a child that his mother ended up not naming him, but was going to name him, and was like an inside joke between them. So weird. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. By the way, sorry for any background noise. I got my 2-year-old in here playing with his toys, per usual. You guys know the deal. Now, let's check out a story of a gentleman who spent a whole day with a mythological creature that doesn't really exist. Maybe he hallucinated the whole thing. Maybe he dreamed the whole thing. Maybe it was real, and he's hung out with a vampire. I don't know. Now I know. You're like, oh my god, Katie, you just gave like 10 different scenarios, and those are all like at different ends of the range here. Like, what are we talking about? Like, whoa, dude. It'll make sense. Check it out. It'll make sense. Tell me what this guy did, who he hung out with, and what the F is going on. Make it make sense, y'all. Check it out.
Have y'all seen that story about that Uber or Lyft driver that met the vampire in New Orleans? That story made me think about a story that happened to me that was similar, but it was in Atlanta. This happened a while ago. I was super young, and the details of the stories don't show y'all how long ago this was. This was in a time where it was just becoming cool to meet people online. Like, you would meet new people on MySpace and be like, oh, they live in the same area. Shoot, let's hang out, let's chill, whatever. This was also during the time where I was on this spiritual, like supernatural kind of awakening time. And everything on my page was talking about like spiritual, supernatural stuff and whatever. So naturally, I would have interesting conversations with people who were like into the same thing. This kid hit me up who was about the same age as me, I think maybe a little bit older, and was asking me, hey, did you read about this? Did you read about this? Have you heard about this? And all the stuff he was talking about, I was like, nah, I never heard of that. Wow, whoa, it's crazy. So we would always have these crazy conversations until we got to the point where he was like, you should come hang out. I got some stuff I could show you, like, that I've done and that I've seen. You should come chill. I'm like, what? Yeah. This is about to put into perspective how long ago this was. So to get to his house, I had to print out directions on MapQuest, which was, the time I was living with my best friend who's like my brother, and I used his mom's car so I could go. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with a friend or whatever. She was like, cool, whatever. So I printed the directions out, drove to the house. I pull up to this house, and it is a mansion, like the biggest house I think I've ever seen. And as the gate is open and he's walking down the driveway, he's like, what's up? I'm like, what's up? What do your parents do? Just kind of like, oh yeah, they're into everything. They're not in town right now, whatever. When I tell you it was like a circle driveway, it had like Bentleys and like all kind of expensive cars in the driveway, and I'm just kind of like nervous because this is the first time that I've ever been around money like that. We walk into the house through this huge ass garage, and the house has this weird feeling. It like feels homey, but feels expansive at the same time, like a warehouse. It was the weirdest feeling. I can't really put my finger on it, but it felt vast and at the same time cozy. This is where it starts getting. As we go through the house, each room is themed to like a different period of humanity. I'm talking like big suits of armor in one room, and then it's like Asian inspired stuff and ancient stuff. And I'm like, so do your parents collect things? Or at this point, I'm like, what's happening in here? We're walking through all these rooms, and we finally get to a hallway that looks just like any other house, any other hallway. His room was to the right. There was a restroom to the straight ahead, and then branches off to the left to other rooms and stuff. Normal. This is where it kind of linked to the other girl story. And what made me think about this again was, I remember the details, but I don't remember the details. Like, I remember we talked about socials, birth certificates. He was telling me how to use my brother's birth certificate to get him out of jail. Other kind of secrets about the country, the world, all kind of stuff I remember, but don't remember. I remember what he looks like, but I can't quite remember what he looks like. I remember what he sounds like. I remember what the room looked like. I remember what the bathroom looked like. And let me tell y'all about what I found in that bathroom. So this is what made me start going on a rabbit hole and researching things, because it was this big book. It was a huge, I don't even think I've ever seen a book this big, but it was like leather bound. You could tell it was really old. When I opened the book, on the first page were like these drawings, and it was these beings, and it was kind of like a family tree type thing. And the first one was saying like, this is this being, and then this is this being's kids, and then this is whatever. These beings looked like us, but pitch black. And these were drawings in the beginning. So the beginning of the book was drawings. They were pitch black, like the color black. All you could see was eyes. I'm flipping through the pages and I'm feeling like I'm invading privacy. I'm seeing something I'm not supposed to see. And as I'm flipping through the book, it's saying names of what these beings are, who they are, like description of who they are. It was like biographies, but very short descriptions. And I can't really remember details, but I do remember as the book got further, it became less of drawings and more of pictures. And once it started becoming pictures, I got scared. Grab the book and I take it out there and I'm like, what is this? What is this? He goes, oh, that's the book of Anu, the Anunnaki. It shows you who all the Anunnaki are up to this day. Some of humanity comes from them. It's kind of like a story of God and the angels and blah, blah, blah. What? Mind you, we had a full-fledged conversation after that. I remember I was there for quite some time after that, and I remember him explaining it to me, going through the pages and talking, but I don't remember none of that. It's like I'm looking at a memory on mute. I came to an end. I remember getting back into my car, and like immediately after I left, I called my brother while I was on the way, and I was like, you'll never believe this, blah, 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 because we were both on this supernatural spiritual journey. I'm like, he said this, da, da, da. My brother's like, I want to meet him. I want to meet him too. I'm like, yeah, I think, yeah, you can meet him too. In like hours, I've been gone for, I don't even know how long, and I'm telling him more and more stuff about the stuff I remember, and he's like, I want to meet him. I want to meet him. I'm like, bet, I got these directions I printed from MapQuest. Let's go tomorrow. I'm sure he's not gonna carry his parents out of town right now. This is where it gets all the way crazy. So the next day, we followed the directions that were printed on MapQuest back to that same place. We get there, it's an open field. Nothing's there.
What? Like what? How does a whole ass mansion just disappear? Did he make it up? Because I don't think he made it up. He doesn't seem like he's making it up. It seems like it's a genuine story. He printed the directions off MapQuest and then saved the piece of paper and then followed those same directions back there the next day or a couple days later or whatever with his brother, and it's gone. Like what? And for any of my like young viewers out there who don't know what MapQuest is a thing back in the day where like before you had Google Maps or GPS, before you could just go into your phone and put an address in there and figure out how to get there. We didn't have that when we were younger. Like you didn't have GPS, you didn't have Google Maps, right? So you had to go online before you left to go somewhere. Like say I wanted to travel to Disney World in Florida or Disney, whatever the hell is in Florida. I would have had to go online to mapquest.com, put in my home address and then the address of where I'm going to, like, you know, Disneyland in Florida or wherever the hell you're going to. And then it will tell you step-by-step directions of how to get there, right? It'll say like make a right off of your street, a left onto the next street, take this freeway there, get off at exit whatever, da, 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 da. Like it's step by step of how to get there. And then you would just print off this fucking booklet, staple it together and take it with you in the car and follow it turn by turn by turn by turn, right? It was like a manual, Google Maps, if you will, okay? So that's what he did. And then he saved the piece of paper with those directions already printed on it from the day that he went there. He saved them. He did not reprint them. He did not re-get them. He did not use GPS. No. He grabbed the same piece of paper that he followed the first time when he found this guy with his brother in the car. He does it, you know, for the second time, follows the same piece of paper, turn by turn by turn, and nothing's there when he gets there. Same area, same location, took him to the same part of town, but the whole mansion is gone. Weird, right? And then how about the shit that the guy was talking about? Like the stuff that he was telling him about, the book that he found in the bathroom. Like, what is that? What? I don't know. Seems like I need to go down some deeper rabbit holes or something because like, what? Crazy, y'all. Crazy.
I just 1000% shifted timelines and I don't really know how to feel about it. I'm completely freaked out and I've never had such a large demonstration that, yeah, I 100% just shifted timelines or I'm in a different reality. So here's the story, you guys. In 2021, I went to a concert. I was wearing my lucky bracelet that I wore every day. I had it for years and I wore it every single day. I was going into the porta potty in the VIP section of this concert, which was like a little bit of a bigger bathroom. And this girl like tried to get into my stall, right? And push me. And it was an accident, but I dropped both my cell phone and my bracelet falls off my wrist and plops into the fucking toilet of this porta potty. It is gone. Gone. I was pissed. And the entire weekend, like, it was an ordeal trying to get my phone back, and I'm like, this was my favorite bracelet. Like, no wonder if I lost my lucky bracelet, you know, I'm having not the greatest weekend. So I was like upset. You know, this was something an item I was very attached to, and I watched it dive into the abyss of shit and pee. So I am about to go out of town, so I'm packing for Florida, and I get the urge intuitively to go into my jewelry cabinet, which is in my nightstand. And in the past year and a half, since 2021, when this concert was, I have rearranged, reorganized, and gotten rid of a bunch of things. I have done probably 3 closet cleanouts, donations, charity, whatever, selling online, whatever. I have done it. So I'm like, oh, I want to pack some cute jewelry for like dinner and whatever, because I'm planning my outfits, right? I'm a planning girl. And I get the urge to look in this jewelry, in this part of where I keep my jewelry, and the fucking bracelet is sitting there as if someone placed it. I have like a velvet organizer, as if someone placed it. This is the bracelet, and it's the Our Father prayer. It is the fucking Our Father prayer. It was like someone placed it right on top of all of my other stuff. I know for a fact, like, this is the real deal. And I don't know if it was like an angel. Like, I do feel, you know, I've had synchronicities and stuff, or found objects, and they say, so in the book that I have on repeat, which is Florence Scovel Shinn, she talks about objects that are divinely yours. You cannot lose them. If it is yours by divine right, whether it is a person, a relationship, a house, anything, if that is yours by divine right, like connected to your soul, you cannot lose it. And this bracelet is mine by divine right. And it's the fucking Our Father prayer. And it was probably had so much of my energy. I wore this during a near-death experience, and I think it saved my life.
Weird, right? Like, she lost the bracelet in the shitter, okay? Like, she's like, I watched it fall in the porta potty, and I was not gonna get it back. Like, I'm not reaching my hand in a porta potty, and like, sis, I don't blame you. Like, I don't even want to go to the bathroom on a porta potty, okay? Like, I get it. But then how do you find the bracelet later? Like, how? Like, it makes no sense. And I've seen so many of these stories online. Like, there was one creator who I saw that got a pair of earrings from her great-grandmother, right? And her great-grandmother passed away, and she lost one of the earrings when she was like 10 or 11, right? Like, when she was a child. Like, she lost it at her house, right? And then now, 10, 15 years later, she's an adult. She was moving up to Alaska, and when she gets to Alaska, like, steps off the plane, or however the fuck she got there, she steps out and she felt something underneath her foot. Like, she felt like she stepped on something. So she looks down at the ground and like picks up her foot. It is the fucking earring that she got from her great-grandmother that she lost like a decade prior. Make it make sense, guys. She lost it in her childhood home, and she lived like in like the connected United States, and now she's moving to Alaska, steps out in the parking lot, and it's in the parking lot under her foot. How? Like, what? I'm so confused. Does this shit blow your guys' mind as much as it blows mine, or am I just like eating up what these creators are selling too much? Maybe I'm like, I need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't know. But this is just crazy to me. Let me know what you guys think.
This is story time. Sit. All right. Quantum jumping. Quantum jumping is the process by which you have a desired result that is different from your current state. If you apply enough energy, right, you can change your current reality to that desired state, and that is quantum jumping. I did this shit last week in Chinatown, and let me tell you what happened. Went to go see my acupuncturist in Chinatown because I have eczema, right? After the appointment, he's like, Chantel, you need to get Chinese Benadryl specifically to help with the itching. Cool. He shows me a picture of this, right? So I'm traveling around Chinatown. I'm in this little area where he said it is. I'm looking at each store, looking for herbs and some type of medicine. Nothing is in English, all right? Everything looks the same right now because it's just store against store against store against store, right? Finally find a store. Go in. Miss, I need this. She looks at me up and down. She takes it. She kind of throws it on the counter. And she's like, $9. I'm like, do you take card? No, cash. Rude as hell. I'm like, I'll be back. So I hop on my e-board and I go zooming to Chase Bank, bumping, and I'm thinking about how rude this lady is, and I'm like, should I even spend my money with this lady? Like, I really do not know. I wish I had a better place I can find. Maybe I'll find a place on the way. Like, I'm in deep thought, right? Go to Chase, get the money out, go right back to where I was, right? I had a visual marker of where I was. I was right by the street sign that said Forsyth. I was under a bridge, and to the right was the store. I go back, the store is not there. I'm like, okay, maybe I want to block up too much. So I go back up and I slowly come back down. The store is not there. I'm like, nah, I'm bugging. I didn't even eat any brownies or edibles. Like, I'm bugging. I hop off my board. Board in one hand, remote in the other, and now I'm looking into each store. The store is not there. But guess what? There's another store. Now, the store that I first went to, everything was on the left-hand side, a glass counter, and there was 2 women in front. This new store, everything's on the right-hand side, and there's a lady in there, right? This store was not there before, but I'm like, you know what? I need this cream. I'm gonna go in. She goes, I get it. She's actually $6.50. Take it, give her the money, and I put my wallet in my bag. She's like, miss, you didn't zip your wallet. I'm like, it's okay, the zipper's broken, but thank you, you're so nice. And I leave. I'm like, wow, I'm actually really happy I spent money with this lady and not this other person. And I go back out, and that store literally disappeared. The store that I first went to was literally replaced by this new store, and I'm like, what the fuck? But I got my Benadryl.
Weird, right? So, like, did her thoughts make her change timelines? Like how she was like, that lady was rude. I don't really want to spend my money with her, as she's thinking all this on the scooter to go to the bank to get her money. And she's like, maybe I'll find another spot that, like, you know, I can spend my money more wisely with like a respectful, nice business owner rather than this rude lady. And then when she gets back to Chinatown, that store's gone. There's a new store in its place, and the woman is very kind and respectful. Did she do that herself? Like, is the power of your mind that powerful? And like, she just didn't want to spend money with like a rude business owner, so when she came back, like, the universe gave her a second chance? I don't know. Did she quantum jump timelines while on that scooter on her way to the bank, and then she came back to a better store to purchase from? I don't know, but I just think these are so crazy, dude, so crazy. And they happen to a lot of people. Like if you type in on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, I jump timelines or near-death experience and I jump timelines, there are so many videos you will find. You will fall down a rabbit hole, I promise you. It's insane. And like I said, obviously these creators could be making it up. It's not that hard to just come on here and like make up a story. But I feel like it's really easy to tell when people are genuinely freaked out by events that happen to them. And these read me as genuinely freaked out people. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.
We're about to have the weirdest conversation ever about something called quantum immortality, but it's really just talking about jumping timelines when something bad happens and kind of resetting things. So this is crazy. I just saw a TikTok from someone who basically said that they believe that they jumped timelines after a work accident that happened that they definitely wouldn't have survived, but somehow did. Tell me why this happened to me when I was like 3 or 4. The thing that throws me off about this story is that I don't really remember anything super clearly before this moment, almost as if I don't remember a previous timeline, but I remember almost everything that happened after this timeline shift. So I was like 3 or 4, and I literally was like at a friend's house. There was a swimming pool, like one of those baby swimming pools, and there was a broom under it. And I kind of remember trying to like pull on the broom, and then apparently it like jerked out, and like the broomstick went into my eye, and like I just remember blackness, like darkness. I don't remember a lot after that, but according to my mom, looking at a white butterfly over here that's like flying as I'm telling this story, apparently my mom was like screaming. There was like blood, like it looked like my eye was gone. So she's freaking out. She puts a washcloth over my eye and drives me to the ER, and she's like freaking out. What I do remember is taking the washcloth off of my eye and looking at my mom's face, and her face is just like, it like changes. It goes to like shock, and I'm seeing perfectly, and I'm like, I just remember taking that off my eye and looking at her, and her being like, what just happened? Like my eye was 100% healed. Everything was like back to normal as if nothing had happened. She's like, well, I'm at the ER, so I might as well take her in and like see what's going on. And she told me that the doctors came in and looked at me, and they're like, there's literally nothing wrong with your child. Like, are you sure she hit her eye? I still think about that day all the time. I have like perfect vision. Like I don't have to wear glasses. Like literally nothing's wrong with either one of my eyes, but I don't remember the actual incident as much as I do removing the washcloth and feeling like I had jumped onto a different timeline. I know this story is so crazy, but you have to tell me if you've heard of a story like this, or if you've experienced something like this where you're like, no, something definitely happened, and it's almost like the rewind button got pressed.
Now this one really messes me up because it's not just her. Like her mother saw her have the accident, saw the broom go through her eye. She put her in the car and was getting ready to take her to the emergency room. And then all of a sudden the daughter just pulls the cloth off her eye and eye's fine. No injury. The doctors even say so when she gets to the emergency room. Like, I don't know why you brought her here. She's fine. What? Like, make it make sense. Your eyeball doesn't just heal itself. I don't know. I really, really don't know.
Tell me about a time when you think you shifted into a parallel reality.
Alright, this is a really long story, but I'm gonna try to get it out in 60 seconds. Basically, one afternoon in 2018, it was my senior year of high school, and I took a nap before swim practice. Well, I woke up in my dream, and I just carried on with my life. I went to swim practice, I went to bed the next day, I went to school, I ate in school, I went to the bathroom, I did everything. Like, everything was exactly the same as real life. I didn't even think it was a dream. And then all these things started happening. A couple of my friends broke up, our friend group kind of started to fall apart. I ended up with a different boy than the person I was with in real life. It was just really strange, and it was everything that was going on in the real world, but it was just a little different. Anyway, it got really scary when my whole friend group fell apart, and it was this huge mess, and I went to bed in my dream sobbing and crying and begging something for a chance to try again. And then I opened my eyes and woke up, and it was when I went to bed in the first place months ago. I was messed up for days. And then things that happened in my dream happened in real life, so I'm psychic or crazy.
There's just so many of these. You see what I mean? Like, they all follow the same pattern, like the same type of scenario. You know what I mean? This one obviously was a dream, so it's slightly different than the others, but everything that happened in her dream then slowly began to play out in real life. And it's like she was clairvoyant for a moment there. Her dream let her like predict the future. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think is going on. I really don't get it. Now, we're kind of done with the shifting timelines and quantum timeline jumping part of this video. I've kind of covered all those videos, but I do have a few glitch in the Matrix stories that are just as good and just as mind-blowing, and I had to put them all in one big hoopla compilation video for you. Here you go. You're welcome. Enjoy. So this next video is of the WWE wrestler Montez Ford freezing up in front of the cameraman and like a whole live crowd and all this stuff. I'm sure you guys have seen this video, but I still had to cover it because, like, dude, they walk up and start like pushing buttons. Like, they're like pushing on his back, pushing on his stomach, pushing on his shoulders, like legit looking like they're looking for buttons to push to turn him back on. Like he's like a robot or a clone or an AI or not human or something. I don't know, but it's weird. And then I have enhanced the audio and like turned it up to the max so you guys can hear what the cameraman and like the guys that are dressed in all black clothing around him that are pushing the buttons, so you can hear what they say. Because I swear on everything I love, when I was listening to this with headphones in, so let me suggest that you might need headphones in to hear this. You might not, because I'm going to tune that audio all the way up so you can hear it as easy as possible. So you might not need headphones, but you might. But if you listen very closely, after they get done pushing buttons, they literally turn to each other, and to me, in my opinion, it sounds like he says, "I can't even find a button." Well, I don't think you would be able to find a button, homie, because Montez Ford should be a human. Humans don't have buttons. Unless you know that he's not a human. I don't know. Check it out. Listen for it. Let me know if you're hearing the same thing.
Side memorabilia, exclusive items, and so much more. All at the Rec Room in downtown Toronto. Open through Sunday.
Yeah, like they're clearly hitting buttons, okay? Now tell me that's a normal thing to do when a human like freezes or glitches. You're just gonna walk up and try to hit buttons that don't exist? No, people don't do that. Come on. And then did you hear it? Did you hear him say it? I can't even find a button. I swear that's what he said. Like, I swear it. Crazy, dude. Crazy. P.S. Sorry for the background noise. He found his toy that, you know, makes a lot of noise and is rather loud. Sorry, guys. All right, now let's get into these Glitch in the Matrix stories and let's check these out because I promise they're just as good. Let's check this one out.
Friends, I am having a freak out moment right now because I was just in the kitchen cooking dinner and I spilled grease on my dress, so I took off my dress and I spray and wash it and I hung it in the laundry room so that way I can wash it in just a few minutes. And I run in the bedroom really fast because both my boys are home and I didn't want to run through the house half naked, so I run to my bedroom really fast and I get in my closet to grab another dress that is similar to the green dress that I just had on, but I remembered that I washed it and hung it in my closet, okay? I just got it at Goodwill like maybe a month ago, and I remember taking the tags off of it because I giggled. It was brand new dress that I got at Goodwill, and it has a clear tag on it in the sleeve, and the tag thingy is like doubled. And I remember this very distinctly. I cut it off with my cuticle clippers. They're in my bathroom, but just right there, okay? Before I washed the dress. Now, I just got in my closet to grab this said dress, okay? I'm gonna show you what I just found. This is my dress closet. Like, this is my closet, and these are like 90, whatever. I have so many dresses in here. So this is the dress I went to grab, right? Okay, I went to grab this dress, so I'm moving stuff out of the way to grab this dress. I just went to go grab the dress. But I'm like, why is there a dress that looks exactly like the same dress behind it? So I'm like, what the fuck? So I did this, okay? I'm reenacting exactly what I just did because I want you guys to see this shit. So I lay these dresses down, okay? This dress is a Knox Rose dress, extra large. I washed this dress, okay? This is the dress. It's green. It's got like ruffles on it. It's got super long strings in the front. It's like an army green color, okay? On a white hanger. I took the tags off. I washed it. I hung it up. I haven't worn it yet. This is the same fucking dress. It's the same fucking dress. And why? Why does it have the same tags? You guys, I'm freaking the fuck out right now. Why is this dress multiplying in my closet? I already cut this off. I cut this off with my freaking cuticle clippers in my bathroom. I cut this off already with the cuticle clippers in my bathroom. I washed the dress. I hung it on a white hanger in my mother freaking closet. You guys, you can't even see it right now. Ugh. Okay, there's a little etching on it. It says tailor made, okay? You see that shit? Alright, you guys, I'm freaking out. Hold on. Here's the same fucking dress on the same motherfucking hanger. What is that? What is happening? What is happening, you guys? I'm freaking out. Like I have goosey pimples on my arms right now. Is my closet magic? Is this like Narnia's closet? What is happening right now? Can anyone explain this? How?
Yeah, like weird, right? Now, for any guys out there, I'm sure you, like, I know you're not girls, so you don't buy dresses, but I'm sure you would even agree that, like, you're not going to go buy the same t-shirt twice, right, guys? And any girls watching this video, you know, if you have the same summer dress or whatever dress at home, you're not going to go out and buy the same exact dress. You're just not. You might buy one that looks similar or is a similar color or maybe made by the same designer or the same material or fabric if you really like it and it's like your favorite dress or like your favorite shirt for guys, but even then, you're not going to go buy the exact identical one. Why would you? You know what I mean? I mean, I guess, okay, now to be fair, I guess she could have bought the same exact one. Obviously, anything is possible, and I'm not saying it's not, but it just doesn't seem realistic to me. And then she seemed genuinely shocked by that. Like, she was genuinely, like, mind-fucked. I don't know, weird. It's like I strongly believe that there is a timeline out there where she is searching for that green dress and she can't find it anywhere. And then now in this timeline, it's just like, green dress in your closet, boom, there it is. You got an extra one because of the other timeline where they can't find theirs. Crazy. So weird. Okay, now this next one is a glitch in a matrix that was actually caught at a concert. The gentlemen filming this are speaking Spanish. So for any of you who don't speak Spanish, it might be a little hard for you to understand exactly what is happening. So I found a video where a woman is going to translate what they are saying. She will talk first and basically explain what is going to happen in the video, and then they will play the video in Spanish for you to see it yourself. But she's going to tell you what you're looking at and what is happening in this video before they start talking in Spanish, so you're not like super confused and just like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Okay, so let me play this tape again. She's going to explain it to you, and then we're going to show the footage so you can see what we're talking about. But this one is like really eerie. Like it really, really is. And I would love it if any of you can make it make sense. So roll the footage, check it out.
What's going on in this video is really weird. So I'm not really sure. What he's saying is they went to a concert. They used two phones at the same concert to record what was going on in the concert. But when he shows you the number, the time that they took the videos, the iPhone, which he says the other one's not an iPhone and it's not really in focus, so you can't necessarily see it very clearly. But the iPhone took it a minute before the other one. One of them says that it was at 9:44. The one that's not an iPhone, the other one says that it was at 9:43. The iPhone says that it took the video at 9:43. But you start watching the video and the singer in the video is doing two different things in the videos that they took. Not only that, one of the guitarists comes behind the singer in the iPhone video on the right, and they're not in the other video. They are at the same concert. They took this video at the same time, even though the times on the screen are different for some reason on the phones, but it's not an iPhone, so it might be a different time. But the video in the background at the concert on the screen is the exact same in the videos. The singer herself is doing two different things. And one, she crouches down, and one of them she puts her hand to her head, and one of them the guitarist is in the back, and then the other one, the other phone that is not an iPhone, completely different story happening. Go watch that. That was the explanation of what's going on in Spanish. That's what he talked about in the video. I do speak Spanish fluently, so there you go. You're welcome.
Estamos súper sacados de pedo. Será falla de la Matrix.
Ponle pausa, espérate, y ahorita comentamos. No, espera. Acabamos de llegar desde el concierto de Lana del Rey. Aquí está una merch no oficial. Y mi bolso de las caguamas, obviamente. Y ahorita recordando cómo estuvo el concierto, nos dimos cuenta, mi amigo y yo, que yo hice un TikTok con este video que grabé y esta cosa no enfoca
porque no es iPhone. O no sé, pero no enfoca. Y este otro, o sea, los dos grabamos lo mismo en el mismo momento, solo que de diferente ángulo. O sea, yo estoy más chaparrito, mi amigo está más alto, pero él inició a grabar desde el principio casi que de la canción. Y aquí te marca la hora de las 9:43. Ahí está, Ciudad Deportiva, Foro Sol. Yo 21:44 porque yo grabé poquito después, ya había cambiado el minuto. Y ahora que estamos viendo los videos, porque estamos recordando, porque recordar es vivir, dicen, checamos esto, chequen esto. Vean cómo Lana del Rey actúa diferente. O sea, no sé qué pedo. No sabemos cuál es la real. Y de fondo vean el video y es lo mismito, pero ella se mueve de manera diferente. ¿Qué pedo? Una se agacha y la otra no, sigue en su pedo. O sea, ¿qué pedo? Y luego el vato que está atrás, o sea, vean eso. ¿Será que nuestra Lanita sí es bruja y hizo algo ahí? Bueno, ahí al final la pantalla del final ya cambia, pero no sé qué pedo, si todo está sincronizado.
Weird, right? Like, I know one was an Android and one was an iPhone, and he said, like, the only difference was that his friend was a little bit taller than him, so, like, they're slightly different angles. But if you look at the background behind the singer, you can tell that they're, like, synchronized. Like, they're, like, damn near happening at the exact moment, like, maybe a few seconds apart. So why is the singer, well, the singer and the guitarist, actually, why are they doing such different moves and poses and standing in different positions in the iPhone footage compared to the Android footage, right? Like, why is it so drastically different when these two gentlemen were standing right next to each other at the same concert recording at the same exact time? Like, make it make sense. Now, this next one isn't so much a glitch in the Matrix story as it is just footage of a glitch in the Matrix happening. So this woman keeps a very tidy home. She says she always puts her fly swatter back in the same exact place every single day. And she was going to sit down and record a video for her TikTok, and she heard fly buzzing behind her. She's like, I hate flies, so as soon as I heard it, I got up to find the fly swatter. And you'll hear her in her home security footage being like, where is that fly swatter? I hate flies. I can't find the fly swatter anywhere. So she gets up off the couch and she goes and looks in the kitchen, and it's not in the kitchen where she normally keeps it. So she goes and looks in her bedroom and thinks, like, maybe did I swat a fly before I went to bed last night? And she's like, I know I didn't, but whatever, let me just go look. It's not in her bedroom. It's not anywhere. And as she's walking down the hallway, something catches her eye, and she turns and she looks, and on the couch, sitting right next to where she just was, is the fly swatter. Now, it doesn't make sense because not only was she just sitting there, and she would have seen it if the fly swatter was there when she got up to look for the fly swatter, she would have seen it on the couch right next to her. But according to her own witness testimony, she always keeps it in the same place in the kitchen, and she never just leaves it lying around. Like, her house is very tidy, she's very OCD, and, like, things have a place, they need to go in that place. So what happened here? Was it a genuine glitch in the Matrix? Did she just misplace her fly swatter? Did she just not pay attention and it was sitting next to her the whole time and she just happened to walk right past it and didn't notice it? Personally, I don't really think so, but I would love to know what you guys think. Roll the footage so you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Where's that fucking fly? Fucking hate flies, bro. I hate flies! The fuck is my fly swatter? Caught that on camera. Shit. Anyways.
So like, did she just walk past it? Did she just not see it and just walk past it? Was there like a glitch in the Matrix where it wasn't there, and then once she came back, she saw it and just all of a sudden appeared there? I don't know. I really don't know, but I would love to hear what you guys think. This next video is rather new, so I don't know if anybody has seen it. It was just posted to TikTok like maybe 3 days ago, and this woman is out of town on a work conference, like travel, whatever, for her work. She's staying at a hotel, and she has a very, very strange glitch in the Matrix happen to her that she can't explain, and she's taking to TikTok to hope and maybe see if anyone on there can explain this for her, because it just doesn't make any sense to her, to me, to anybody else watching it. Just roll the footage and let me know what you guys think. This one's wild. Check it out.
I cannot make sense, still, what happened this morning. With that said, I've never had anything happen to me that would be considered like a glitch in the Matrix. But this morning... Okay, so I'm out of town, staying at a hotel, because I'm here for a work function. But our meeting started at 10 a.m. It's 7:10 this morning. My alarm goes off. I'm like, I need a couple more minutes. I put my phone down. I roll back over. All of a sudden, I can feel my phone in my hand. Like, almost as if it was placed in my hand. You know? I'm like, the fuck? So I roll over. My phone is, in fact, in my hand. I know. I did... I click the side of my phone. It says 11:30. Bitch, I jump out of bed so fast. So fast. And I look like one of those cartoon characters that are like getting pinged, like, bing, bing, because I have no idea what to do with myself. Immediately, give the manager a call. And he's like, hi, buddy, good morning. And I'm like, good morning. I don't know. Why the tone? I don't know. Purely in panic. Clearly. He goes, hey, you good? And I was like, well, it's 11:30, and I'm not there. He goes, what do you know? You're early as usual. Because I always arrive early. This is 7:30 in the morning. I thought this man has even left his house. He's having breakfast with his family. And then he proceeds to tell me, like, the time, the day of the week. And I'm like, like, I'm looking at my phone, my guy. It says 11:30. What? There's another person here for the same function, so I run to the window, and I look, and I see their car, and I'm like, well, there's no way they're late, too. Anyway, I hang up, I sit down, and I'm, like, trying to collect my thoughts. Like, what? Mind you, while we're on the phone, I take a screenshot. Because I'm like, I'm looking at 11:30. Take a screenshot. After I sit down, I can't log back into my phone. It will not let me. So I turn it off. When I go to squeeze my phone to turn it back on, it falls on the floor face down. I lean down into my phone, pick it back up, and it's on. Like, not turning on, whatever, it's on. And it says 7:30. I log into my phone, immediately go to my pictures, no screenshot. Like, is this a traumatic event? Absolutely not. Does it not make any fucking sense? Absolutely. And I don't accept this. What happened? Does it mean anything?
Super weird. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe it was just a dream. Maybe she just dreamed it. Like, has it actually been confirmed that you talked to your boss? And luckily, a commenter was thinking the exact same thing that I was thinking, because they commented that comment on her video, and she responded with this video. So check it out.
I'm getting this question a lot. Anyway, it is confirmed. I did talk to my manager. In fact, when I walked into the meeting, everybody made a little joke about it. They're like, hey, I heard you had a really weird morning. Something like that. But nothing is adding up to it. Even in regards to when I laid down to the time that I got back up and randomly had my phone in my hand, but it was on the charger. It was only 20 minutes. And then it doesn't have my screenshot, but it does have the call log. It's easy. And then when I turned my phone off, I didn't get to squeeze it long enough to turn it back on. It was a split second that I dropped my phone. I picked it up and it was on. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I'm going to be thinking about this for a minute.
Isn't that weird? So it has been confirmed that she spoke with her boss. So what happened that morning definitely happened. So what was it? Was it just a weird glitch with the phone where she saw 7:30, but it was actually 11:30, and that's why it like glitched out and like was on when she dropped it? But that still doesn't explain the screenshot not being there when she took it, unless that's like another part of the weird phone glitch, like it just deleted her screenshot. I don't know, weird. But then like, how do you explain the phone just randomly being placed in her hand? Like she said, she set it on the end table next to her, went to bed, and then all of a sudden felt it in her hand almost as if it was placed there. Now, maybe she's just really overworked and really tired, and she thought she set it on the nightstand table, but she didn't actually, right? She left it in her hand and fell asleep with it like that. I don't know. I mean, obviously it could be easily explained by like her just being tired and it just being a phone glitch, but it still definitely makes you question it and be like, wait, what? It's so weird, right? So weird. Have you guys ever had anything weird like that happen to you? Any like weird glitch in the Matrix stories where you've witnessed something that like you know doesn't make sense? Because if you've ever seen my old videos on this channel, I have experienced a time glitch before, which I made a video about it. So if you want to hear that story, just go check out that video. But that was probably the strangest thing I've ever experienced in my whole life, besides that dream where I like traveled out of my body and like literally knew and could describe a whole house that I had never been to before. That was very strange too. It was like those two things, the time glitch and that weird dream experience I had, are probably the two strangest things that have ever happened to me in my whole entire life. Like unexplainable things. So weird. Now let's talk about organ transplants and all of the strange glitches and like eerie scenarios that surround organs and the transplanting of organs. Check it out.
Did you know that there's like over 40 documented cases of someone getting an organ transplant and then taking on the freaking characteristics of the donor? So on the left-hand side, this is Terry Cottle, and he was married to his wife Cheryl, and unfortunately he took his own life by shooting himself in the head. Sonny Graham was the man that received his heart as a transplant, and he wanted to contact Cheryl to tell her how grateful he was for, you know, the sacrifice and all the pain and everything like that. And they actually started dating and they got married. Now the weird thing is, 12 years later, he took his life in the same way. And if you look online, there's like so many things where it's like personality changes following a heart transplant, changes in heart transplant recipients that parallel the personalities of their donor. So this is coined as cellular memory, and the whole idea is that memories are not only stored in the brain, but a psychosomatic network extending to the body, internal organs, even your skin. Now, this case that I brought up, could it be cellular memory? Sure. Could it also be maybe she drove the men to do this? Yes. But the fact that there are so many medical journals with published articles about personality changes that happen after a transplant, I think is really, really fascinating. So the question is, if something happens to me, anybody want my organs? Because do you want to deal with this personality or no?
Like, I know that there's probably like a scientific explanation behind it. Like your neural pathways are just open and it like memory or I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. But it is so weird to me. Somebody could have like a love of classical music and then they pass away and then their heart gets transplanted or their brain gets transplanted or their liver gets transplanted, whatever. And then the donor or the person who accepted that donor organ now will have like a love of classical music. Or there's like multiple different cases or scenarios of this happening. That's just one example, but there's so many and it's so weird. It makes you stop and think and be like, what is going on? Creepy, 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 creepy. Now, that is all of the glitch in the Matrix and quantum timeline jumping stories that I have for you today. I thought they were so amazing that I just had to include them all in there. But I do have one last video to share with you that isn't exactly a glitch in the Matrix or like quantum timeline jumping story. It's just like super creepy and I wanted to include it in this one because like, why not? We're getting close to Halloween and this one's creepy and it's worth your while. So let's check this video out and then I will tell you the story about my husband's quantum timeline jumping experience and what he personally experienced before him and I met. So let's check out this video.
What is the creepiest thing your kid ever said?
When my daughter was 3, she came in my room in the middle of the night, woke me up and said, "Mommy, can you please get the little girl out of my room?" And I'm sleeping. I'm like, "What little girl?" She's like, "The little girl, she's jumping on my bed. She wants to play with me. She won't get out of my room." I'm like, "Oh, just sleep with me." So she slept with me. The next day, I didn't think anything of it. Then she comes to me and says, "I'm so sick of Daddy moving my toys around in my dollhouse. He comes in my room and plays with my dollhouse and moves them all around." I'm like, "I highly doubt your father's doing that. He probably banged into it by accident, making your bed or something." This went on for pretty much every morning. Somebody's rearranging my dollhouse. Didn't think anything of it at all. The only reason I thought of it was because one night me and my husband come in from outside and our oldest daughter comes and says, oh my gosh, Mom, Dad, the freakiest thing just happened. And we're like, what? And she's like, I came downstairs and Jen was in the kitchen. And then I see her walk by, so I walk to follow her in her room to see if she's okay. And I see her in her bed sleeping. But she was just walking. So I wanted to make sure that she wasn't tricking me. So, I tried to wake her up, but she was sleeping. She wasn't joking. I think I saw a ghost. And I'm like, oh crap. Jennifer said there was a little girl in her room. I wonder, So the next day I say to Jennifer, what does the little girl look like? And she said, she has long blonde hair, blue eyes, and she's white. She looks like me. Okay, because my daughter had long blonde hair, blue eyes, and I said, is she your age? And she said, no, she's younger than me. She's probably 2 or 3. Now my daughter was 4, maybe 4.5. So I'm like, holy crap. So, I'm on the phone with my mom and my sisters, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. And I'm like, what the hell do I do? And my sister reminds me, I trash picked that damn dollhouse, like right when this whole thing started going. But you don't notice little things, right? I was like, oh my God. I brought a spirit into my house by trash picking this like handmade built dollhouse I thought was beautiful. And that's the dollhouse the furniture was being arranged in. Her furniture. It didn't come with furniture. I just trash picked the dollhouse. Anyway, long story short, we ended up burning the dollhouse in the fire pit to try to get rid of the spirit. And then maybe 6 months later, my daughter comes to me and says, oh my gosh, Mom, we burned that little girl's dollhouse, and then she burned our house down because we were living in a hotel because our whole entire house burned down. Coincidence or creepy crawly? I have no idea.
No, you already know. Like, those of you who have been watching my content for a while now, you already know how I feel about these, like, spirits or, like, creepy attachments to children. I don't like it. I don't f with it. It happened to my son, and I don't ever want to experience it ever again. So, like, horrifying, creepy. And this mom seemed like she was genuinely telling the truth. Like, it seemed like she was recanting an actual story that happened to her. Didn't seem like she was making it up. I don't know. Would love to hear what you guys think. Do you have any children of your own, any nieces or nephews, or any pets that have experienced weird things or act super weird or growl at nothing? I would love to hear it. Like, I really would love to hear your guys' take and your guys' opinions and what have happened to you and your stories, and send them on over. Send them to mama. All right, that is all the videos I have for you today. So let me go ahead and tell you this story from my husband and his point of view of his quantum timeline jumping experience really quick before I end this video. So my husband and I have been together since 2012. It is 2024 now, so 12 years. Before we met in about 2011, I would say like right before we met, he was down in Detroit, and he was, my husband, his name is Jeremy. Jeremy was down in Detroit, and he was partaking in street races. Okay, he had a Mustang at the time, and he would go down to Detroit and race for money. They would do street races on the weekends, and they would have, like a payout for the winner, whatever. So he used to go down there all the time in his Mustang, and he used to race. And this one time he was racing, and they're going really fast. Now, if you know anything about street races, obviously, if you live in Detroit, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But for any of you who don't live in Michigan or the Detroit area, when they do like street races through the city, it is literally like through the city. Like, you're going on city roads, like through like intersections, around cars that are driving. Like, it's not like they have a racetrack, right? Like, that's just how they do it, okay? I'm not saying it's the smartest thing in the world, because personally I think it's really fucking stupid. And had I have known him back then, he wouldn't have been doing it. But this was before I met him. So, boys will be boys. Anyways, he's down there racing, and he's racing this guy, and they're on a 2-lane road, and there's a bunch of parked cars on the side of it. Okay, so 2-lane road, and there's parked cars on each side, left and right side of the road. I'm not sure where my husband was on the left or right, but he was driving, and there was the guy he was racing was next to him. And the guy who he was racing, there was a parked car ahead of him down the street, which somebody was getting into. And they obviously weren't paying attention. They didn't see that people were racing down the street and heading towards them. So he got in his car and started to back up and pull out of the place where he was parked on the side of the street. Now they're racing, and they're coming up to this guy who's in his car backing up. And he's backing up into the gentleman who my husband is racing against. He's backing up into his lane. His lane. Not my husband's lane, but the other guy's lane. And they're going like 100 or something down a city street, right? You can't just like stop. They didn't have time for that. So this guy, instead of like swerving off into the grass or hitting the brakes or anything, his instant reaction reaction was to swerve, but he swerved into my husband's lane, like into my husband's car. And my husband didn't want to hit him going 100 miles an hour, obviously. Like, this is all happening in instants. You know how accidents are. Like, it's like a second time to react. Parked car starts backing up into the lane where they're racing. He's gonna hit the guy my husband's racing against. Like, he's gonna smash into the back end of it. So the guy my husband's racing against starts swerving over into my husband's lane, which then makes my husband have to swerve. He can't just stay in a lane when a car's coming at him. You know what I mean? So he starts to swerve, and there's parked cars up and down this whole street on left and right side. So I'm sure you can imagine what happens next. My husband crashes into a parked car going about 100 miles an hour. Before he hit, something took over his body, and he reached down and he clicked his seatbelt off. He said, I don't know why I did it. To this day, I don't know why I did it, but it was like I didn't do it. It was like my body just did it. He said it was just like a reaction. I don't even know how to make sense of it because it doesn't make sense. Like, you're about to crash. Why would you unbuckle your seatbelt? Don't know. But his body did it. Reached down, click, hit his button. Seatbelt came off. He crashes, boom, into the parked car. It should have been the end of him. It should have ended him. No question about it. Car's totaled. The engine block is in the driver's seat. The door gets ripped off. The driver's side door gets ripped off. The car's totaled. It's mangled. Like, there's no way anybody in it should have survived. And my husband's friends were there with him watching him race, and they're like, dude, we saw your car crash and we thought you were gone. Like, we thought we just watched you end. My husband said from his witness, he's like, I don't know what happened. All I know is I clicked the seatbelt off and then everything goes black. And I wake up in a field about 200 yards away from my car, and there's shattered glass all over me. I'm laying in a pile of glass, and I have not a scratch on me. Not a single scratch on me. Not a concussion, not a bruise, not a broken arm, not a single scratch on him. So what happened is he crashed into the parked car, reached down, thankfully, and unclicked his seatbelt. Don't know why he did that, but that's what saved his life. He reached down and unclicked his seatbelt, and then the driver's side door was sucked off of the car from the impact of the crash, and my husband was sucked out of the driver's side door and thrown into the field about 200, 300 yards away from his car. Thank God he survived without a scratch on him. Don't know how that happened, other than the grace of God. It was a miracle. And when he goes back to look at his car, it's mangled. The whole front is gone. The engine is in the driver's seat. Had he have not taken off his seatbelt, he would not have made it out of that car. He wouldn't have. Now, ever since that accident happened, he said things in his life have been slightly askew. Like, it seems like the same. Like, he has obviously the same mom and dad and brothers and stuff that he had before, but everything seems a little different. Right now, I'm not going to get into details because I don't think it's my place to give away his personal, stories and information. He has given me permission to share this story, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing it. But he just notices small differences in his life and the way that his family operates, and not just his family, but the way that his friends operate and the way that life operates and just how different the world is. He's like, I swear, I was not meant to make it out of that car accident, and maybe there's a timeline where I didn't make it out of that car accident and my family is grieving the loss of me in that timeline, and I just jumped over here to this timeline where I met you, where we had kids. Weird. I don't know. And then it gets even weirder when you realize that my husband and I grew up 5 blocks away from each other. We had all the same friends, went to the same middle school, same high school. I was bit by a squirrel outside his house, his childhood home where he grew up at. My older sister, was best friends with his neighbor his whole life. Like, I used to come over right outside his house and drop my sister off at his neighbor's house because that was her best friend. Like, there have been so many instances and chances where we should have met, but we never met our whole lives until 2012 after this accident happened. Weird, right? It's like we were living in 2 different timelines, and that's how we didn't meet until he crossed over into mine. I don't know. I literally don't know how else to explain it, but like, it's so weird. And me and him talk about this all the time because it's crazy. It's so weird. Let me know what you guys think. Have you ever had an experience like that, or a situation like that where it was something traumatic and like that you should not have survived it, and then all of a sudden everything goes like black, and then you wake up and you're fine? No issues, nothing? Let me know if this has ever happened to you, or maybe has ever happened to somebody that you know and you can like share a personal experience like this, because like I said, I would love to hear your guys' stories. This stuff is so fascinating to me. It is just crazy. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here because that is all of the clips that I have to show you today, but I do have some other phenomenal videos that I have in the works for you guys that will be up on our channel soon, so make sure you are subscribed and have that little bell icon turned on so you get notified next time I upload a video just like this. And if you haven't already, smash the hell out of that like button. Do me a favor and like, go do it. Go beat it up. Like, beat it up. Hit it again. Hit it again. Log into your other account and hit it again. No, but seriously, it like lets the algorithm know that like, hey, people like this video, so maybe I should like show this video. All right, guys, I'm gonna jump on out of here. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me. For those of you who made it to the end of this video, y'all are the real ones. You already know the deal. Let's do a little test here. For anybody who did make it to the end, comment quantum timeline jump down below in the comments so I know who made it to the end and who didn't. Quantum timeline jump. Comment that down below so I know you made it to the end of this video. Other than that, I have nothing else to ramble about. out, so I'm gonna jump on out of here. Thank you guys so much again for your time. I really, really appreciate everybody hanging out with me. Seriously, it means a lot to me. If you're not subscribed to our channel, get subscribed to our channel. And if you haven't already beat up the like button, like, go beat it up, okay? It's been talking crap and it needs you to beat it up. Go handle it. All right, love you guys so much. I'm hopping on out of here. Until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.